Hello, my name is Paul Brogan, and I'm running for mayor. Concord has been a part of my life for almost 60 years. I grew up here. I went to school here. I worked here and got to know the many amazing individuals that helped to make up our community. I've admired their work ethic, their community spirit, their sense of caring and giving. I know it certainly served me right through the years during the various ups and downs that we all experience in life. Well, now I'd like to give something back to Concord, and that's why I'm running for mayor. I feel Concord is at a crossroads and that we need to make some decisions now that will have an impact on our city for many, many years to come. I think that we need to address the issue of voter apathy because that has greatly affected the voter turnout for all of our municipal elections in recent memory. I want to talk to people and tell them, please let me be your voice. Let me help you to speak out. Everyone needs to be listened to because a community is about everyone. I also want to be a full-time mayor. I think it's very important. While the position only pays $2,000 a year or $40 a week, I'm willing to work 40 hours a week in order to draw new businesses to Concord, to get people interested in wanting to come here, to see the arts, the history, all of the various aspects that make our community terribly exciting. And in doing this, I hope I can help reduce the tax burden that is threatening to suffocate our citizens. We also need to address the homeless issue. We need to talk about the heroin and opiate epidemic. It's a public health crisis, and it needs to be looked at. But I need your help in order to accomplish all of this. So I hope on November 3rd, you'll consider voting for me. If not, please at least exercise your right to vote and come out and vote for someone. The future of Concord, New Hampshire is in your hands. I thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Brent Todd, candidate for Concord City Council, Ward 1, Pennacook. I want to thank Concord TV for this opportunity to speak to you this way. I want to thank the voters out there for their interest in their city council. And especially I want to thank all of you for your support of me over the last 2 years as your city councilor. I think we've made a lot of progress, but there's certainly a lot of more work to be done. I will continue to listen to you to try to move toward positive change. And I want to say that it's been a privilege to know you and work with so many of you over the last years. The contact information for me is available on the city website, so I please encourage you to not be shy. If there's an issue that's of concern to you, contact me. I'm here to work for you. As you may know, the City Council at the beginning of every year sets its priorities for the coming year, those issues or projects that it feels are most important and would like to carry forward in that year. I'd like to hear from you on what specific projects are important to you. I have heard from some of you already generally about some of the things that concern you. So far it's been economic vitality issues, safety, and quality of life, and I'd like to speak to each of those individually. In terms of economics, I'm very proud of Concord's Standard & Poor AA+ rating. This means that to investors out there, Concord is seen as a good investment. It also helps us to work financially when we have such a great bond rating. Also, I'm proud of the fact that we've been able to balance our budget for the 7th year in a row. But I do think that there's more that we can do to attract businesses to Concord. And that also, of course, is a very important way that contributes to our economic vitality. Our downtown in Pennacook has been revitalized, and already you can see a lot of renewed interest, and I'd like to continue to build on this progress that we've made. And in order to do that, I think we can focus on Concord's promotion as a business-friendly environment. This is going to be crucial for us in Pennacook. In Pennacook, the percentage of your city and county taxes that you pay is actually lower than the folks in Concord pay. However, that difference is more than made up by the Merrimack Valley School District. The school district accounts for 61% of your tax bill. In Concord, the school district accounts for 53% of Concord folks' tax bill. Concord's 53% was the same in 2010, but in 2010, Merrimack Valley School District was 57.6%. So in 5 years, it's moved from 57.6 to 61. If we can anticipate that the school district is going to be faced with continued growing needs, the surest way, I believe, out from under the tax burden is to continue to increase and expand our tax base. How do we do that? We promote new businesses in the downtown and in 30 Pines and other neighborhoods in Pennacook. And we work with the city to come up with a plan to promote and market its business attractiveness. And I'd like to continue to work with the city on that plan. In terms of safety and quality of life, I'd like to advocate the return for a policeman on the beat. I think we should continue to focus on Pennacook's historical resources, its rural character, support the library, the parks, the community center, and the schools. These are all tremendous assets, not only for our community, but for those who are looking outside of Pennacook for a place to move, to work, and live. I'd like to continue the community building events that we've had over the past year as a result of Concord's 250th birthday celebrations. The Pennacook Village Association and Pennacook Historical Society put on marvelous events, and it would be wonderful if we could have that continue. Now, all this may seem like a tall order, but folks, really we're doing a lot of it already, and it's just a question of continuing that progress and keeping all the balls in the air. A city the size of Concord's, I believe, cannot work on just one project at one time to completion and then move on to the next project. There is always a balance of competing interests. So many projects you're going to find are at various stages of completion. One may be almost finished. That doesn't mean we're not paying attention to the one that we're just starting. Voters this year can vote on November 3rd, Tuesday, in the same place that you're used to in Pennacook, the Immaculate Conception Church on Bonney Street. I'm asking for your vote so I can continue to push for progress and advance your interests in the city. More information is available at my website, BrentToddConcord.com, and I believe that together we can make all of our Pennacook dreams realities. Thank you very much for your support.
Hello, I am Allan Herschlag, your Ward 2 City Councilor. It has been my privilege to have the opportunity to represent you on the City Council. When I ran for the City Council 2 years ago, I made a number of promises to you. I promised that I would listen to you and that I would never forget that it is your money that I am spending. I have worked hard to keep my promises to you. With our Ward 2 State Representative, I have hosted neighborhood meetings at the Newell Post Restaurant, and you have taken these opportunities to share your thoughts and concerns with me, and I have listened to what you have had to say. And at our Ward 2 meetings, we have discussed issues that impact many of you. The reintroduction of the PSNH, now Eversource, 317 power line, road safety improvements, and deciding where to place a sidewalk to make pedestrian traffic on borough roads safer in the future, discussing how new development will impact our ward, and looking for ways to spur economic development in both Ward 2 and Pennacook Village. Additionally, we have had members of the city's administration and their departments and the engineering team from Eversource at our meetings. These are three issues that I will continue to focus on that I feel are important in determining the future of our city. First is economic development, the engine that generates jobs and new tax revenue for our city. The city is now aggressively marketing the Employment Security Building, the Tannery, and the Rivco property. But we still need to develop a strategy to market Concord and have a plan in place when someone calls and asks why they should do business here. But just having new development doesn't always mean that we have additional revenues to pay for citywide services and school district costs. The use of special tax districts and incentives to developers can help to spur economic development. But when using these development tools, it is important that there is a benefit for both the developer and the community. Without new sources of revenue, City Council projects listed in our 10-year capital improvement plan will either have to be delayed or your property taxes will have to be increased. Second is infrastructure and the capital improvement plan. The City Council recently approved a $4 million bond to help to pay for neighborhood street repaving. But even with this additional funding and a 0.5% tax increase each year for the next 20 years, at the end of those 20 years, there will be streets in our city that won't have been repaved for more than 50 years. In addition to street maintenance, we are looking at replacing the city's pools, a new community center, upgrades to our water and sewer systems, and improvements to our parks and equipment replacement. This is only a partial listing of some of the many projects totaling over $276 million in Concord's 10-year capital improvement plan. So you can see how important economic development is in order to have the resources to pay for these projects. And third are drugs. Like the rest of New England, Concord has been hit and hit hard with those who use drugs illegally. In 2012, our fire department identified 23 instances when they responded to overdoses or intentional misuse of medications. By the end of July of this year, the year-to-year number of responses had risen to 128, with an additional 20 calls that were listed as overdoses being a contributing factor for the original call. The use of these substances now infects every neighborhood in our city. I believe it is important for the City Council to identify the use of illegal drugs as a priority. It is an issue that not only affects individuals and their families, but an issue that impacts the quality of life of all those who live in and visit our city. And two additional issues that are often linked to substance abuse are the need to find the resources to treat those with mental illnesses and finding long-term solutions for those who are homeless. While each individual community in the state needs to accept responsibility for those who live in their communities, it is also important to recognize that these are issues that cannot be solved without coordination and resources from our state and federal government. But even with all these issues, Concord is still a great city. We have made much progress since the economic downturn, and as a community, we are continuing to move forward. Concord is a great place to live, go to school, and to work. And with your support, we can continue to make Concord even better. I have appreciated your support, and I am looking forward to the opportunity and privilege to continue to represent you on the City Council. Please be sure to vote on Tuesday, November 3rd. Your vote is your voice, and it is important that you are heard.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Kretovic, and I am running for the City Council seat in Ward 3. Now, Ward 3 is a very diverse district. I have neighbors living in some of the most densely populated areas of the city, such as Fosterville, and some of the most rural areas around Pennacook Lake. The needs and concerns of the constituents are just as varied as the location of their homes. In speaking with people from across the ward, 3 areas bubble up about what's important to the residents in Ward 3. First, a vibrant city. Every community in New Hampshire relies heavily on property taxes to fund its city operations. As a volunteer with the Greater Concord Chamber of Commerce and in Town Concord, I continually work on economic development efforts and have for more than 10 years. Concord needs to be at the forefront of attracting new, higher pay employers. We're losing this effort to cities like Rochester, Dover, Portsmouth, Manchester, and Nashua, particularly the high-tech companies. When businesses are looking to come to New Hampshire, Concord needs a voice at the table. City Council needs to support initiatives that will give rise to that voice. This approach tackles 2 objectives: tax base expansion and citizen retention, both provide relief to the residential tax burden. Next, a safe city. In Ward 3, our neighbors are very concerned about the issues of homelessness and heroin use. Let's talk about homelessness first. Concord will not be operating a cold weather shelter this winter, and we are all anxious about it. The Coalition to End Homelessness is establishing Housing First. It's a program that does just that, puts homeless people in a safe, stable housing environment. The concern, and it always is, are the people that are homeless by choice. They won't access Housing First, and there will not be a shelter. But there is a great coalition working together to find the right resources, appropriate resources, for anyone needing help. Now let's talk about drug use in Concord. Our police department is using the Problem-Oriented Policing Program, or POP for short. It's a focused effort on police resources to target drug houses, to keep an eye on known addicts, and it does touch into the homeless camps around town where other crimes were on the rise. The solution to opiate drug abuse is treatment. Today, we do not have a detox or treatment center for addicts. And while the state debates what New Hampshire will do, Concord has little choice but to take people to the emergency room, which is not a treatment center, or incarceration, where at least some treatment and counseling is available. As city councilors, we can help keep the lines of communication open to our state representatives to make sure the state applies resources to help communities fight this problem. While the conversation this election focuses on homelessness and drug use, we cannot forget the hidden crimes of domestic violence, sexual assault, and elder abuse. 1 in 2 women in Merrimack County will become a victim of abuse in their lifetime. For men, it's 1 in 4. I support the decision to add a witness advocate because holding abusers accountable sends the message that abuse will not be tolerated in our community. It's gone on for far too long, and it's time we stand up and say no more. Finally, the greatest challenge facing the next council is the budget. Here's the important number for you. $15.7 million. That's how much we've had to pay over the last 6 years because of downshifting. If you don't know what downshifting is, let me explain it to you. The state did not give us all the money due to us from the rooms and meals tax, and they also cut their contribution to retirement benefits. The loss of income and the added expense have been passed down to us without our control, and that's where the $15.7 million comes from. Our city council needs knowledgeable leaders that can adapt to a changing fiscal landscape. As a past member of the council, I understand these critical budget impacts. Some last thoughts. I live in West Concord, Ward 3, with my husband Bill, and I have for the last 27 years. We have 2 sons, Michael and Jack. Michael and his fiancée live here in Concord. Jack is a senior at Concord High. All of us volunteer for local nonprofit organizations. How do we stay connected? It's easy. You can call my house. My number is 2288395. By email, you can email jennifer.kretovic@gmail.com or drop a note in the mail to 8 Gallon Drive. Remember, we vote on Tuesday, November 3rd. Ward 3 residents, we are at Beaver Meadow Golf Course. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Byron Champlin, a candidate for Concord City Council representing Ward 4. Over the last 2 years, it's been my great honor to represent Ward 4 on the council, and I think we've made great progress. We've seen the revitalization of our downtown through the Main Street redesign and reconstruction project. I think that anyone who's been downtown has been just impressed with the energy and vitality that even the project, which, as I speak, is only about 3/4 completed on North Main Street, has really changed the whole tenor of our downtown. I'd like to continue serving on City Council in order to build on that. Once we have the north and the south ends of Main Street reconstructed, I'd like to start working on how we build out the retail space and the energy and activity on the side streets so that our downtown is more than just Main Street, it's also a downtown that has depth. I've also been honored to work on addressing our homelessness issue in Concord. I was very pleased to support the Concord Plan to End Homelessness, and I was proud to be appointed to the Homelessness Steering Committee that oversees that plan. We've moved forward with the Housing First model of addressing our long-term homeless individuals who actually use most of the services and most of the cold weather shelter bedtime in our city. By identifying these folks, getting them immediately into housing with the support of a caseworker, and then dealing with the issues that have led them to homelessness, sometimes mental illness, sometimes substance abuse, and oftentimes a combination of the two, we can start to reduce that long-term homeless population, which is so concerning to our citizens and which are the most vulnerable. I'm proud to say that Concord was recently noted as the 4th best capital city in the country to live in. And that's something I think that we all should take note of. Also, Concord consistently is ranked as one of the top 10 small cities, and oftentimes the best small city in the country relative to lifestyle, low crime, and other issues. I think that we still face challenges in the city. As City Councilor for Ward 4, I've dealt with issues around problem properties, which have been areas of drug activity. I think we've made inroads in addressing that, and I think we'll continue to with the good work of our police department and our fire emergency personnel in the fire department and our city code enforcers. But it's an issue that has long-term ramifications. It doesn't just affect us, it's part of the overall picture in the state. And so I'm pleased that our city officials are continuing to work with state and federal officials in order to address this. Ward 4, I like to say, is the heart of Concord. And as the heart of Concord, it's a great microcosm of our city. We have native Concord residents, we have newly arrived residents, and we have refugees and folks from overseas who have relocated in our community. This is what makes our community strong. I've been very, very honored to serve not only on the City Council, but by virtue of my seat on the City Council, to serve as a member of the Planning Board, to serve as a member of the Traffic Policy Advisory Committee, to serve as a member of the Community Development Advisory Committee, to serve as a member of the Economic Development Advisory Council. As the immediate past chair of the Chamber of Commerce and as a member of the Economic Development Advisory Council, I have tried to move forward on finding out and determining how best Concord can expand its tax base by attracting and retaining businesses and industry that can employ our citizens. If I'm reelected, I plan to continue with that policy and with that activity. I've been an almost 30-year resident of Ward 4. I've walked its street. I've taken my kids, to my daughters when they were growing up, to ball games at Dillon Field. I've taken them ice skating at White Park. I'd be honored to continue to serve you as your representative, as your city councilor for Ward 4. I ask you for your vote, and above all, I ask you to get out on November 3rd and vote. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Timothy Willis, and I'm running for City Council in Ward 6. My first priority in becoming a city councilor is to listen to you first. All right, become a voice of the people, address your concerns first, and that will become my first priority, community needs, both in Ward 6 and citywide. That being said, I do have a few issues that I believe really need addressing first. Number one, as we all know, property taxes has become a big issue. And I've been talking to a lot of people lately, and those need to be kept down or at least in check. That's going to also help rents low, which also helps out the renters, which sometimes get forgotten. I would like to see the heroin problem and the drug epidemic in general addressed. I think we need tougher punishment for dealers and repeat offender users. We should give those users a chance to rehab, maybe provide some services if necessary. Everybody deserves a chance to get better. The homeless problem, as most of you may know, there's going to be no cold weather shelter this winter. That's a real problem that we really need to fix in the coming years. We need to provide some kind of services and shelter for the homeless. I would like to see priority snow plowing on sidewalks where the kids have to walk to school and through their bus stops. I know the city's probably doing the best that they can on this, but we really need to make it a priority. Those need to get done first, especially in handicapped areas where the elderly walk, children. That's really important to me, and I know it's important to you too. I would like to have everybody email me at willis4concord@gmail.com. Email me anytime with any questions, concerns, ideas, anything you want to bounce off me. This communication is very important to me. This is what we're going to work on when I get into council. If you want further detail, you can also go check out my profile on the city website on Concord.com, as well as the other candidates running at large. I thank you for your time and have a wonderful day.
Hi, I'm Gail Matson. I'm running for Ward 8 City Council re-election. I'd like to say that I think that I am representative of the citizens of Concord. I work full-time. I'm a single parent with 2 children in college. I'm financially conservative, and I am socially accepting. I'm organized, I'm experienced, and I have a dedicated work ethic. I will work hard to represent my Ward 8 constituents, and I will listen to your concerns. Some of the issues that are important to me are the Northern Pass. As chair of the Northern Pass Subcommittee, we recently submitted a report to City Council that requested the burial of the lines through Concord should the Northern Pass come through. Last night at the City Council meeting, the City Council voted unanimously to accept this report and to request that the lines be buried. Financial responsibility. It's important that we maintain city services to run as efficiently as possible, and that we maintain those services as well as trying to maintain a balanced budget, and we want to maintain a low tax burden for the citizens of Concord. Business economic development plays into that factor. We want to attract new and compatible businesses to spread the tax base and to ensure that we have a vibrant community. I wish to support the police and fire departments to maintain a safe and healthy environment for the citizens of Concord. I would like to ask for your vote on November 3rd. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Candace Bouchard. I'm the current Ward 9 City Councilor, and today I am here to once again ask for the honor and the privilege to have your vote on November 3rd. If you vote at the Havenwood Heritage Heights Retirement Community, then you are a Ward 9 voter. You know, over 28 years ago, my husband and I purchased our home on the Heights. My husband Joe and I raised our son Jed in that same home, and we're still there today. My husband works for the state of New Hampshire, and I work for a small community-based case management healthcare company. And I believe, as I believed then, and that's why we purchased our home in Concord, was that Concord is a great place to live, work, and raise a family. And if I am elected once again to be your counselor, I will work to ensure that Concord remains that healthy, safe community, not only for today, but for future generations. You know, I have been working, and I will continue to work to make sure that you and your family are my focus. I will continue to be your voice in the City Council. I will continue to have my priorities, which are low taxes, public safety, and ensuring efficient and effective delivery of city services. You know, Concord's on the cusp of some great things happening right now. We have the Main Street that's being redevelopment with the hope that it's going to bring new development and new life to downtown. We're already seeing that with more people being downtown and newer businesses opening up downtown. But along with all the exciting things that are happening in Concord, we do have our challenges. We know that we have a drug addiction epidemic, not only in the city, but through all communities in the state. And I will work to ensure that our first responders, our police department, our firefighters, our Health and Human Services Department have the resources that they need to address this addiction, that they have the resources they need to work together and also to work with our partners outside the city of Concord, be it the medical community or state agencies. You know, I've been up on the Heights for a while, 28 years, and I've been working hard to ensure that the Loudon Road would be a safe road, not only for pedestrians and vehicles, for bicyclists. And I will continue to work towards that goal. And I will continue to work towards beautification of the Heights, and I will continue to work towards improving the community center, or hopefully building a new and affordable community center. The Heights is a very unique community. We're very culturally diverse. We're diverse in our housing, we're diverse in our ages, we're diverse in our incomes, and we're diverse in the community with our businesses, being anything from a small independently owned business to a huge big box store business. And I know that the health and safety of our community depends on the health and prosperity of those businesses. And I will continue to work to ensure that those businesses get the same attention that the businesses downtown and throughout the city get. So I hope that you will return me to the City Council. I hope you will vote on November 3rd. The polls are open to 7 a.m. And I would appreciate your vote. And once again, my focus will always be and continue to be you and your family. And I will continue to respond quickly to all your emails, phone calls, and letters. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Lenny O'Keefe, and I am a candidate for City Council in Ward 9 in the City of Concord. I thought I would begin by telling you a little bit about myself. I was born in Concord and graduated from Merrimack Valley High School. I am married to a wonderful wife named Linda, and we have 4 children, 2 that went to Concord High School and have graduated, and 2 that are currently at Concord High School. We have a senior and we have a freshman. I am the son of a United States Air Force veteran, a 20-year veteran. My father is also a veteran of the Vietnam War. And my mother was raised in Boscawen. My father was raised in Pennacook, and they both graduated from Pennacook High School. When I thought about running for City Council, I spoke to a friend of mine who gave me a piece of advice that said that I should pick 3 strong topics that I feel strongly about for the City of Concord. Number 1 would be public safety. I have worked in law enforcement for the past 20 years as a police officer, and I am currently employed at the Merrimack County Department of Corrections as the training coordinator. I work every day with the public safety as my primary mission. I have taught classes and been asked to speak on topics such as gangs, drugs, mental health, and even homelessness. Those topics that are at the forefront of what's going on in our city right now. I am a supporter of the Concord Police Department. I am also a strong supporter of the Concord Fire Department and believe what these people do every day is vital, and I appreciate what they do every single day. Next for me would be fiscal responsibility. As a homeowner and a father of 4 children, fiscal responsibility is a top priority for me. It is important that Concord maintains a level of quality services and that Concord runs efficiently. I do believe work on the infrastructure is much needed. And as a person who works in the public sector, I understand the importance of a budget, and I also understand the importance of working within a balanced budget. I did speak out in favor of the redesign of Main Street. Just like society itself, I believe the City of Concord is changing, and I believe the redesign of the Main Street area was important for those businesses and those people that live in the downtown area. However, the need to revitalize a downtown area is as important as is the need to improve the upkeep of our infrastructure. Third for me would be the economic development. In an article printed by the Concord Monitor, the mayor spoke of the need of the City of Concord to sell itself. I believe both fiscal responsibility and public safety will help with the City of Concord selling itself. I believe we have a great Chamber of Commerce. I believe we have many nonprofits in the Concord area that only exist because of the time and efforts of remarkable people. We have a top-notch hospital. We have great schools. We have a great location on the map. We're an hour from the mountains, an hour from the ocean, and we're an hour from the city of Boston. We are a city of great parks and a wonderful river. We are a city steeped in tradition and history. It's time to do as the mayor suggested and work on a plan to sell our city. It is an exciting time in our state as we are visited constantly by candidates for the United States presidency. I see many people in the area becoming actively involved, including my own daughters. I would ask that those same people please take a close look at the local election, ask questions, please do your homework, and most of all, vote on November 3rd. Your local elections are as important as those national elections when it comes to the impact of your day-to-day lives. My information can be found on the Concord website, Concord City website for anybody. Also anybody in the city, Concord Ward 9 that would like to speak to me, give me a call. Again, my information is there, and I would love to hear from those people in Ward 9. I would like to take a second to thank Concord TV for doing this for the candidates, and thank you all. Thank you.
Hello. I appreciate Concord TV giving me this opportunity to speak with you in your home. I am Jim Baer, and my candidate for one of the 2 open seats for the Concord City Council at large. I gave some serious thought about how I will use these few minutes with you. I thought about telling you how I grew up in New Hampshire, how I served honorably in the United States Air Force, the various successful careers that I've had, and to share with you my hopes and plans for a brighter future for our city with a government that is efficient, effective, and affordable. Then it occurred to me that this election is not about me, it's about you. I have listened to so many Concord citizens who think that City Hall doesn't listen to them. They believe, rightly or wrongly, that the deck is stacked against them, that only people with influence and access run the show. For many in our city, it often feels like our city government doesn't care about the little guy. Well, I do. I care about you. I care about the fact that some of you may not be registered voters. Some say it doesn't matter. My vote doesn't count. Believe me, it does count. It is not only your right to vote, it's your duty. If you expect change at City Hall, you have to be able to do your part. Get up off your couch, go down to City Hall, and register to vote. If you were like me, you get up in the morning, put your pants on one leg at a time, and try and make a living. Your life is busy. Family to look after, bills to pay, worry about the kids' college tuition, taking care of your aged parents, and the thought that you may have to work until you are well over 70 years old. You are not alone. It doesn't help that you have to write that check to the city for the property taxes, vehicle registration, water and sewer fees, and pay for those purple trash bags. You look out your window and see a brand new police cruiser driving by your house while you're driving a 10-year-old car. I can sympathize with you. I'm in the same boat, rowing as fast as I can to stay in the same place. The federal government just announced that seniors like myself will not be getting a cost of living increase in their Social Security checks next year. That means that the most vulnerable among us will have to go another year living on the same income, while the city may want a 4 to 6% increase in its income. It doesn't have to be this way. The City Council must do a better job of prioritizing what they spend our money on. City Hall has an endless wish list. New street extensions, more new roundabout traffic circles, street paving, more new vehicles, and millions for swimming pools. Over $276 million is projected to be spent on capital improvement projects in Concord over the next 10 years. Budget constraints will be difficult. We must remember that without new revenue sources, it will be you and I who will continue to pay more and more each year. The residents of Concord who pay school taxes to the Merrimack Valley School District pay $6 per thousand more than those who live in the Concord School District. This isn't because Merrimack School Valley's schools cost more, it's because of the lack of commercial development. If we want to be able to pay for everything we need and want, then we must aggressively pursue new commercial projects that will return revenues to the city school district and the city. It all comes down to you, the voter. If you are happy with a 4 to 6% annual property tax increase, then vote for someone else. A vote for me is a vote for you. I can't promise a chicken in every pot, but I can promise you that I will not cast a vote to exceed 3% tax increase in the next annual budget, and I will pursue new economic development that pays for the same services that you and I do from day one, and not have to wait 20 years for their taxes to contribute to our city's expenses. My name is Jim Baer. I would be honored to have your vote for Concord City Council. Thank you.
Hello, I am Mark Coen. I'm a city councilor at large, and I'm running for re-election this November for the at-large position. I've been on the city council for 9 years, serving as a councilor at large. During those 9 years, I've seen a lot of economic turmoil through the city, state, and the country. And the thing that was very impressive to me was how the council and the city responded to the severe recession that we went through. The council's decisions was to become very frugal in their spending, keep the tax rate down, during those times, and but still had an opportunity to have some capital projects such as the Fisherville Road project and the Sewells Falls Bridge and a few other items. Because of the actions that the council has taken over the last few years, our bond rating has increased. We've had balanced budgets for the last several years and came out financially in a strong position so we can go forward with projects for the city. One of the things that we're doing currently is the street paving in the residential neighborhood areas, and so that's done primarily because of the great decisions that were made 3, 4, 5 years ago. The projects such as I'm very strong advocate of the Main Street project. I think if you go downtown today, that you can sense the vitality and the excitement of what that project's bringing to Concord. I also feel that the council itself, the 14 members of the council and the mayor, has really done a magnificent job over the last 9 years I've been on the council. We've had a turnover of the council every election, but there's a core, it's not just a core group, but the people that have been elected bring freshness, vitality, and new ideas to the council. And the veterans also bring in stability to the conversation and the decision-making that the council makes. There's a vast variety of backgrounds of the other councilors that make up the city council. So I think it's a great representation for the city as a whole. And again, I'm seeking re-election, asking for your vote, and hope that it works out well for me come November. Thank you.